Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of SeaBed. So, let's jump right back in. I suppose so. Narasaki made a gentle smile as I said that. Suddenly, I felt an odd sense of discomfort, reminiscent of a tiny drop of water falling on my head. I have a feeling I'll be able to sleep well today. Thanks for hearing me out. It's no problem. I mean, that's what I came here for. I thought back on that sense of discomfort from just a moment ago. I realized why I felt that, because Narasaki's smile seemed somehow different from the way she usually smiled back at the clinic. You're going to sleep? It was still early, and talking made my drowsiness go away. I felt like talking a bit more. No, I'll stay awake for a while longer. Okay. Narasaki smiled. Then, we shifted the subject to the interpretation of dreams. Do you have these kinds of dreams a lot? Narasaki asked. Yeah, I tend to dream of places I've never been to before. I also have episodes from my actual past sometimes. I'd love to hear about your other dreams, provided you can still remember them. Well, you know how dreams are. I barely remember anything. Oh, that's fine. Just tell me what you can remember. I told Narasaki about what I dreamed about recently. She kept taking notes in her notebook. She didn't write down everything, though. At times, she simply listened. That's about it. I told her everything I could remember. Narasaki was still writing something in her notebook. Our conversation came to an end around the time the clock struck 10. I thanked Narasaki again. However, she once again said it was no problem at all, then left the room. I turned off the lights and closed my eyes. For the first time in a long while, I fell asleep right away. I had a dream of my past again. Oh boy, here we go. Back into the thick of things, it looks like. The sand in the sandbox was powder-like, as though it was delivered here straight from the beach. I could spot pink and white pieces of shells mixed into it. Takako overturned her water-filled bucket. As the sand absorbed the water and changed color, she scooped up a handful and put it on the top of her mountain. It reached all the way up to her belly button. This should be good enough. Let's make a tunnel next. Start digging from that side. Takako started digging without waiting for my reply. The sand was still wet and showed no signs of crumbling away, even when I dug a hole in it. I continued digging until my hand passed through it and touched something soft. Takako tried to catch my hand, so I pulled it away. We have to connect it properly so it can pass through. What can pass through? We made both our holes wider and strengthened their walls with more wet sand. We're gonna make a water channel pass through this. I'll go bring the water hose once we make a place for a waterfall here. They're going to be angry again if we use the hose without permission. Relax. I'm sure they don't find out. Or I'll make sure they don't find out. We continued working in silence. Oh, that's quite a mountain there. And I see you've even made a tunnel. Oh, Miss Nurse. The kindergarten nurse came to check on us. She wore an apron with pink tulips embroidered on it. What are you making? Right now, a waterway. Oh, but you can't fill the sandbox with water. Relax, I'll make sure they don't find out. Takako continued working in silence. Said the nurse. Oh, Takako, you're a little shit. The chilly air in the room woke me up earlier than usual. I went out for a walk to kill some time before breakfast and ran into Lily as she was sweeping the leaves off the path in the front of the entrance. Morning. Good morning. Today's pretty chilly, isn't it? Indeed. The clouds should clear up soon, or by noon, though, so it'll get warmer then. There was a big bamboo basket filled with leaves by the entrance. Cleaning up must be a pain during this season. It certainly is, answered Lily, smiling. Aren't you officially closed right now, though? Oh, this is just part of my daily routine. Besides, it's good exercise. I see. I saw Lily brush the leaves into the dustpan, so I brought the bucket over to her. She looked up and thanked me. As the leaves were safely delivered to the basket, Lily gave me a hard look. Have you been sleeping well? She pointed at the area below her eyes. Perhaps I've been enjoying myself a little too much. It's good to be active, but don't overdo it. A gust of wind swept across the yard. It turned into a kind of minor whirlwind, sweeping dust into the air. Though Lily pressed the leaves she had collected down with her broom, some of them nonetheless flew up into the sky. Oh my, she said, watching them fly off. I spent the time until breakfast talking with Lily and helping her with her chores. I heard a high-pitched voice next to me. Can you hear me? Yes. The person that the voice belonged to had her pale eyes fixed on me. I looked around, having just been pulled out from the darkness of deep thought. Sorry, not sleep. Oh, it's Kozue. Hi. I'm sorry, what were we talking about? Are you growing senile? A beam of light fell directly on the table, illuminating the tiny pieces of dust on it. I laughed at that because my roomie and I always make jokes that my dad is going senile. I was surrounded by countless books, almost as many as there were stars in the sky. A cute, pale-haired girl was looking at me. I got lost in thought. I do that too, but never in front of people. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry about that. I was asking what kind of children's games you were talking about. From the tone of her voice, I could tell she wasn't really upset. Like playing in the sandbox or with dolls? Just how many years did you spend playing with those things? We were talking about children my age. I mean, it all started when you asked me if I played like other kids my age. Hearing that, I finally recalled some of our conversation. Kozue stared at me with suspicious eyes. Well, you could ask your classmates about that. Kozue leaned against her chair. This might sound surprising, but I don't actually know anyone well enough to start asking questions like that in class. And I'm not planning on making new friends either. Why? Too much effort. Me. Why do you feel that way? I'm not interested in what they're talking about. And what are they talking about? Boys usually talk about video games, while girls discuss TV and idols. And other boys. Sometimes they go to karaoke and events or whatever. And you never felt like joining them? If they invited me, I'd refuse. Me being there would only sour the mood. You don't have to reject them. It could turn out pretty fun once you actually try it. I don't watch TV, so I wouldn't be able to follow their conversations anyway. Kozue was talking much faster than usual. While she seemed concerned by the subject to an extent, she obviously had reservations about discussing it in a public place like this. While I tried to come up with a way to change the subject, Kozue let out a brief sigh. How did we even start talking about this anyway? We were discussing various ways of relaxation, and that developed into a conversation about hobbies and such. Yeah, you were so out of it I almost thought you forgot. Look, I do feel bad about it, okay? I just gave her the weirdest voice at the end there. Well, fine, as long as you're aware of it. Relaxation, she mumbled under her breath. Reading books and looking things up would probably fall into that category for me. Everyone's different. So what I'm doing right now is like a game to me. What's playing, anyway? Playing is playing. There should be a dictionary around here if you want the exact definition. I mean, we're in a library. Kozue raised her face and looked at all the shelves surrounding her. I don't know where the dictionaries are. Want to go look? I placed my hand on the armrest. I'll do that. Kozue stood up and promptly disappeared into the library sea of shelves. Well then, I stood up and headed in the opposite direction. There was a library map by the counter. Kozue looked like she wanted to compete at who would find the dictionary first. As I walked between the shelves of large books and textbooks looking for the Japanese dictionary, I spotted Kozue on the second floor. She waved at me with a book in hand. I returned to the desk. Kozue descended the stairs with the dictionary safely in her grasp. You were fast. I recalled spotting it back when I was looking for your bird encyclopedia. I see. Kozue placed the book, which looked somewhat too large to be comfortably held in her hands, on the table and flipped it open. She found a page with the entry on play. When intelligent animals, people included, engage in an activity for the sake of recreation and self-satisfaction, rather than a serious or practical purpose, doesn't include activities that are performed out of necessity rather than personal desire, such as sleeping or hunting for survival. Kozue read the entry aloud. For the sake of recreation and self-satisfaction, rather than a serious or practical purpose. Kozue mumbled that bit under her nose. Does your research give you satisfaction? I'd say that's an accurate enough description. Kozue answered, slightly tilting her head. In that case, what you're doing here is playing. Kozue frowned in a display of discontent. It's a bit more vague than I thought. Really? If satisfaction is the only thing that defines playing, then everything in the world can be a game. I was hoping to see some actual criteria that could definitively separate playing from not playing. I've said this before, but it's different for everyone. Any activity can be considered playing, as long as it gives you that kind of mental benefit. Kozue's small, graceful hands closed the book. Are you satisfied? Well, I guess so. Did you already know what we'd find in the book? Yeah, it was close to what I expected. After all, it's close to my field. Now I feel like I wasted my time. Hey, no need to get upset. Kozue looked up a few more words in the dictionary, jotted something down in her notes, then went back to the second floor to return the book. I remembered something just now, she said as she came back. When I was little, I used to play with the penguin slide a lot. It was this big and ran on batteries. It consisted of an ice mountain, a slide, and a tunnel running through it. Mechanized penguins would climb up the mountain and slide down. Anyway, you could basically repeat the whole thing over and over again. She showed the size of the penguins and how they moved with her hands. I can still remember it. These penguins were all of different colors and would always slide down one after the other in the same order. I actually remember having that same toy. I really liked the black one and watched him most of the time. I never grew tired of it. Just looking at the thing filled me with satisfaction. The only thing you can do with that toy is look at it? Yes. I wonder why I liked it that much. She narrowed her eyes, falling in thought for a moment. Well, for starters, it looked cute, which caught your attention. Then you probably enjoyed imagining how the mechanism worked, or gave the penguins various roles and personalities in your mind. You really liked it, didn't you? I added. Yes. Do you still have it? I don't know. It ran out of batteries one day and I think I forgot all about it. I see. I wonder where it is now. Now I feel all nostalgic after remembering it. I hope nobody threw it away or something. Kozue spent some time searching for her penguin whereabouts in her mind, but returned to her research after a while. We exchanged a few words over that time, but didn't talk about anything particularly significant. As the library grew dark, Kozue cleared up her tools and left. I figured I could accompany her until the tunnel. The embroidery of water lilies on Kozue's bag swayed to the rhythm of her steps as she traversed the stone path that wasn't designed for her short legs in mind. That's a cute bag. I made it in my industrial art class. She glanced at the bag herself. You made it yourself? You're very talented. I wanted to add more decorations, but I didn't have the time. You like sewing? Kozue took another 3 steps forward in silence. Not really. I guess I like it more than the rest of my classes, though. I see. I suddenly remembered what Sachiko told me about one of her classes. Takako apparently caught a sparrow in a trap box she designed. It was only slightly bigger than your palm and had a latch that could lock and unlock it. They didn't have specific instructions, but everyone was provided with plans of bookshelves and drawers, which turned out to be the basis for evaluation. Needless to say, Takako's grades weren't the greatest that semester. According to Sachiko, this was quite unusual for her, as she did have a talent for engineering. Takako caught the sparrow on the day she brought the trap box back home. Apparently, sparrows would often fly into her house at the time. Takako figured they must have been attracted to the dried up rice that would sometimes accumulate near their rice cooker. When she noticed a bird in her house again, she swiftly closed all the windows and doors and chased it all over the room with an insect net until she eventually caught it and put it in the box. Sachiko got angry at Takako for stuffing the animal into a cramped box with no windows, telling her to consider how she herself would feel if she were in the bird's position. However, the sparrow didn't spend long in the trap. Takako's mother came back home when Takako was away playing, and as soon as she heard some peculiar sounds coming from inside the box, she found the bird and let it go. Takako complained to her mother when she returned, but got scolded instead. The sparrow did not return to her house ever again. According to Takako, a bunch of sparrows used to frequent their kitchen in the past, but not a single one came since then, or had come since then. She wondered if they actually had some sort of means to convey information between each other. We left the premises of the mansion before I even realized it. I turned around to look at it from the road leading to the tunnel. By the way, have you spoken to Lily yet? I figured Kozue wouldn't be interested in the story, so I brought up something else, their plan to meet an architect or whatnot. Not yet. You don't feel comfortable talking to her? It's not like that. Lily enjoys talking. I'm sure she'd be happy if you visited her. I glanced at Kozue, but she showed no reaction, so I continued. Oh, right. She told me a scary story the other day. Did you know that a person went missing at this mansion? No. I wonder if she tricked me. I've never seen more than 2 people working here to begin with. Oh, whoops. I guess that was Narasaki. Sorry. Right. Kozue gave me a suspicious look as I said that. I guess this is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!